So I was watching the NFL Hall of Fame game last week, and I think it's the first preseason game they had. And they were interviewing a coach who's being inducted into the 2022 Hall of Fame by the name of Dick Vermeil. And they were interviewing him, and he said something to me that was, I guess I would say, profound. So basically, he's a coach that's known for going to a team and turning the team around. And so he was a coach for the Philadelphia Eagles for a while, and he took them to a NFC championship. And then he was also a coach for the St. Louis Rams and took them to the Super Bowl and actually won the Super Bowl with a quarterback named Kurt Warner, who was somebody off the street. He also worked with a wide receiver at the Eagles that was a walk-on that became a professional wide receiver as well. So he was really good at finding not talent, because I think they're all talented, but he really was good at finding people that had the will to work really hard to become better. The gal that was interviewing him said, if you were talking or you had some advice for the young coaches today, because there's a lot of young coaches in the NFL taking on teams and trying to turn those teams around, what would that advice be to them? And he said, he thinks it's more difficult today than it was for him, because he said in his day, when you were bad at something or you wanted to get better at something, they just worked harder. They practiced more. They put in more hours. They just hustled. And now the league has made it to where you can only have training camp can only be so long. Practices can only be so many hours. You can only practice so many hours with pads on. You can only practice so many hours at doing full contact. So it's harder for those players to get better, or those teams to build a culture and get better together because of the time restraints that they put on them. And so he said, there's no correlation between working less and getting better. There never has been, and there never will be. And so that really stuck with me, and it really got me back to skill versus will. Like, there's a lot of people with a lot of skill, but if they don't have the hustle, they can be outworked by the people with the will.